Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Sub LBC here doing another video episode of Growing for Freedom. And in this episode, guys, we actually have a lot of things to cover today. I know it's been a while since I've done a video update, so obviously there's a lot to catch up on. And we have some pretty big announcements to make as well. A lot of changes, guys, coming up here on the horizon. So going to try to get it all into this single video update, so do bear with me if it does get a little bit lengthy. But as you can see, guys, we are hanging out over here at Site B. This is kind of the the staging area, kind of a multifaceted garden where we do a lot of work. Obviously, we have all of our clones here in domes. We've got rooted plants working over here, and we obviously use our flood and drain tables to raise the next generation of plants for mothers or flowering. And we also do a little bit of mothering in here as well. But because of recent events, guys, we're gonna have to basically shake things up quite a bit. Just been notified recently here that I'm gonna have to shut down all of our nursery operations at the current headquarters location, and that's gonna come as a shock to a lot of people. Perhaps not so much to those on YouTube, although my videos might become a little bit less interesting moving forward since we're gonna be doing a lot of nursery work now. But for all you guys that are worried about getting your hands on the SFVOG clones, you're gonna pretty much get a little worried. But we'll say that we are going to be making some significant changes to accommodate the demand for clones. So I want to first start by saying, guys, that it's a surprise to me that of all the products that I've put to market, the SFVOG cutting, rooted cutting I should say, or clone, has been by far the most popular, just best product that I've ever put to market. Nothing has created any kind of demand like these clones. Even the flowers themselves, which obviously when grown the best, command the best price. They're you can move it anywhere. But even the clone, it seems to me so much more coveted because there's just not a lot of people that are doing massive distribution of this cutting, or really massive distribution of any quality cuttings in general. So because of the fact that we're going to have to shut down HQ, I've decided to essentially double down our efforts to make sure that we can continue with the same targets of cloning production that I've talked about in earlier videos. Now, in order to achieve that, we're going to have to obviously make some serious changes because Site B is now going to become the new headquarters. And to be honest, guys, I've talked about this in previous videos, the way things are shaping up at this location. This has pretty much become the new headquarters anyways. We've got pretty much everything working here. Full-blown vegetative nursery resources. Obviously, we had dual verticals at one point, but one of those gardens has now been converted over into a 4K nursery, and we're actually in the process of harvesting the 4K vertical right now. And when that is completed, guys, we are also going to be turning that garden into another nursery resource. And in this video, we're going to explain, some of the details as to how that's going to, basically break down, because we still have the 4K resource working at HQ. But to be honest, guys, the timing really could not have been better, because at this point, the mothers that we had working in the 4K at HQ had pretty much worked their way down. We had taken a little over 500 cuttings from the last round, and when we were done, it really did not look like those mothers had anything left on them. So we were going to terminate them. Now would definitely be the time, and we've gone ahead and done that already. But that does mean we're going to have 4,000 unused watts that we're going to have to put to use over here at Site B, or now, as I will refer to it, the new HQ. So obviously, with the way these gardens are designed, we've got 25 feet of length in the room and about 13 feet of width. Obviously, it's a perfect rectangle, as you can see here. So it's really easy to lay out anything in any way that you want, and it's obviously benefited this garden quite a bit. With us keeping the 1600 watt flood tables kind of off into this corner, and we've got all of our staging resources kind of straddling this wall over here, and in this unused space, just raising some mother plants. But obviously, guys, if we're going to be doing nothing but nursery and vegetative work at this garden site, we're going to have to change things here quite dramatically. So the first thing and the most major thing is that we're going to be adding 2 additional watts to the adjacent and upstairs garden. We're essentially where we're going to be keeping the mother plants, and obviously maintaining a 4 plant per 1,000 watt ratio. That means that each one will keep 24 mother plants for a total of 48 mother plants under 12,000 watts, guys. So that is obviously even going above and beyond what we were doing before as far as total wattage consumed for mother plants. And we are no longer going to have any of the low wattage systems such as the 600 watt based production line, which has 4 600 watt lamps. Not going to be doing stuff like that anymore. So production line's going to go down. All cloning and nursery resources at the old HQ are going to go down. And because all of the mothers are going to be reset up at this location, that means we're going to need some massive, staging facilities to take care of it. And what we've got right now, guys, is simply not going to accommodate it. So as it stands, we have been making good use of our 2 8-bulb T5 arrays. You can actually see that we've got 6 Blue Dream mothers here in the works. And we also have a bunch of new SFVOG clones. And these are actually some of the first clones taken from the new 4K implementation. And just like classic SFVOG style, the first round did not go well. Back when we took those cuttings, it was really more just the shape of the plants. We wasn't really expecting much from the quality of the clones, because back then, guys, the plants were really just looking, kind of increasingly nitrogen deficient, maybe CalMag deficient. And as they were getting set up in the new cocoa medium right after transplant, they were just kind of going through some issues. But as you will see in future videos, those mothers are doing much better now, and we're actually going to be going into our 4th round of cuttings, just completing our 3rd, and they've been becoming progressively better. And I think the 3rd round is going to be really, really good, and I think every round up until the death of the mothers is going to be just awesome. And one thing that I must comment too about the nursery resources at Site B, although there are some disadvantages. We don't have the really great countertop space, and kind of the flow style work, or I should say the workflow won't be quite as nice. The kitchen that we have behind that door there in the middle is just not as equipped. However, one thing I will say about this location is that, at least with this room specifically, the plants just seem to do incredibly well, especially the SFVOGs. Now, over at the old HQ, any strain really does well in the staging areas. We can root things pretty effectively, although not as quickly as here. But once the plants get rooted and put under the 8-bulb, they all do pretty well, except for the SFVOG. And one thing that I must say about the Site B facility, this unit specifically, is that it is warmer in here. I mean, keep in mind, guys, that we are only using a single 6-inch extractor to pull air through this room, and that's actually being force-fed into our 12,000 BTU portable AC. And that's pretty much the only thing that we have as far as moving air through the room. I mean, we obviously have a lot of fans working in the room, but because of that, it can get really hot in here, guys, especially with the non-air-cooled 1600 watt setups. These are the 400 watt digital dimmables, and of course we can take these down to 250 watt mode. But I do find that when we run all the HID systems at full blast, by raising the temperature and by having the slightly increased humidity, the SFV plants really seem to thrive here, guys, and that is obviously an incredibly good sign, making this room ideal for doing as much staging as we can. But we're not going to have enough as it is to do our staging. First things first, guys, is that we are going to have to expand the 8-bulb T5 layout to include 2 more at least, which would give us a total storage capacity, I believe, of, 1,200 clones? Yeah, 1,200 fully rooted clones at any given time, which I think should be more than enough to accommodate, especially given the fact that we move a lot of SFVOG clones, real fast, and the fact that once the clones make it out, in just a short number of days, they look really great. And these ones here, guys, have only been out, I think, for like 2 or 3 days. And over at the old HQ, the plants simply would not look this good. In fact, I think that a lot of people might even not believe me that this is the same cut, because of how different the plants look. I mean, they're just so much healthier and happier in this environment. And you can see these guys are the straggler plants, or scragglers, because they just came out, so they look a little weird. But over the course of the next couple of days, they will look just like this, and we're going to do some real great work in here. But it is important to note that, obviously, with the higher temperatures, does come the transpiration of moisture goes a lot faster with these plants. So you do have to stay on top of watering, definitely within 24 hours. And I find that it's not even worth it to run all 8 bulbs. It's just too much heat, and it's just not necessary. The plants seem to do just well at, or even better maybe, even at 50%, and allows me a little bit of leeway with watering, because when we are running all 8 bulbs, the plants just take off, but man, they consume a lot of water, and the stuff evaporates quickly. And the added heat is obviously a benefit to clones that are in dome, and the first round was horrible, because the mothers in that back in that stage were just not really looking that great. But subsequent rounds have been getting better and better, guys, and we have been working on trying to reduce the amount of moisture buildup that we're getting, because it is affecting the tops of the plants a little bit, but we're not seeing any problems at all with damping off or any kind of stalk rot. That's been going away pretty much altogether. And if everything works out like I think it should, excuse me, we should be seeing probably significant increases in rooting percentage overall with this new facility. So really looking forward to that. Obviously, guys, the flood tables are going to stay exactly where they are. We need to constantly be working on new plants to replace the 2 6K gardens, and I'm not even exactly sure if we're going to raise them as complete sets. I mean, obviously, all of these plants are gonna make the new garden. I mean, right now we've got 16 plants next door, but we're gonna need 8 more. So we're gonna go ahead and slide these 6 SFVOG mothers over under the new 2K system. But we are gonna need 2 of the biggest out of these flood tables to join in as well. And then the remaining 24 best plants will then be moved upstairs. But I'm thinking, guys, we're gonna be constantly working on new plants all the time, because we can take really great cuttings from these plants. They root just as well as anything else. And now that we've been using the new, not really new, but new to me anyways, the 6-inch Hugo blocks, we can really raise much larger plants. And we do limit the number of plants per table right now, starting off at 12, and reducing it down probably to 8 if we plan on keeping big plants in here. But I don't think we're going to be keeping them too big, because again, I want to get a system going to where we're constantly bringing in new mother plants, so we don't have to deal with those huge dips in inventory when the mother plants reach the end. I'm hoping that as certain mother plants look progressively shittier, we will just start rotating in new plants, and we'll have a constant influx of new plants joining in. And because this specific facility is so much better than what we had HQ, I think we're much better equipped to do that than we have been in the past. So obviously, guys, we're not going to be needing this 1,000 watt Hydro Farm Raptor 6 or the Phantom 1,000 watt ballast. This stuff's going to be taken down and moved out of here. The 2 staging racks that we currently have over here are going to be moved over to this side. So that will open it up, guys, for us to have 4 8-bulb T5s in a perfect line, so that way we can work on all of our rooted plants really, really easily. So we probably are going to have room to set up 1 more additional emergency rack if need be, but it would block access to the storage door. So not exactly sure how that's going to play out. But each one of the corresponding 6,000 watt gardens are going to have their own racks as well. So each mothering location will have at least 2 racks, with the upstairs 6,000 watt, I think, has the potential to go up to as many as 4. So it is going to make things a little more complicated as far as kiting trays around, because everything is going to have to terminate here ultimately, because this is where we are going to have the best setup for not only rooting the plants, because they're going to be in such close proximity to HID lighting, as well as the environmental factors that I mentioned earlier. But it's just easier to have one centralized location to work on things. And honestly, if I'm going to be kiting trays, I would rather do it while they're still in dome. You can cover them up, kite them down real quick. It's not really a big deal, and the real drawback is it's going to be a lot of trips up and down stairs. But I could use the exercise, so not a big deal overall. And if the rooting percentages are better and the quality of the clones is significantly better, then it's all going to be worth it. And one thing, guys, too, just before I forget, is that we are going to be integrating these Blue Dream mother plants into the mix. So the upstairs garden is going to be comprised of SFVOG and these 6 Blue Dreams. So I think that it's going to be 18 and 6. Yeah, for a total of 24. So for all of you commercial growers out there that are, looking to get Blue Dream at some point in the future, we are going to be making it available again. So definitely do not worry. However, the same thing cannot be said for the Kryptonite and the new quote-unquote animal cookies cut that I have. We're just going to have to evaluate that. I do still plan on keeping the genetic, kind of in the works, but, whether or not it's going to be produced in, any kind of significant numbers is kind of an unknown, and right now I would kind of lean towards no. The demand for SFVOG has just been overwhelming, guys. I really can't just put it into words how crazy it is. I mean, just to give you an idea anyways, as it stands right now at the making of this video, we are currently 1,000 units back ordered, which means that every rooted clone that you see is spoken for already, and we have another 1,000 units worth of orders to fill. And that's nuts, guys. And we've got a lot of clones here, remember, holding to the 20 plant per dome ratio that we're doing. We got 400 plus, plus we have all of the unrooted inventory over at HQ. So essentially every plant that you're looking at in here in clone form is gone. You know what I'm saying? And that's absolutely crazy. It's scary, actually. So, we got to get things going quicker. We need faster rooting at a higher percentage, and I think we're going to be able to achieve that at this new HQ location. Of course, for all you guys that are going to be looking to meet up over the, or in the future, I should say, we'll go over the details of where the new meetup spot is going to be. And although not quite as desolate as the old HQ was, at least we do have private parking and pretty safe access here, and we're going to be working to improve that even further. So it is going to be a great spot to work out of, especially for my larger commercial clients, which at this point, guys, is pretty much all that I'm working with. But as far as the YouTube perspective is concerned, I must admit that these videos moving forward are going to become a lot less interesting. We're going to be focusing primarily on just nursery tactics. How we're going to get the healthiest mothers, the quickest, the highest number of clones, and the longest life of mothers, fastest rooting percentage, and things of that nature. So we are still working with new products as always. Some things that I've been dealing with though that I'm not going to probably feature would be these Meatrop nutrients. This is a set that I picked up over at my favorite hydro store, Green Door Hydroponics. But upon opening these things up, right off the bat, I was kind of dissatisfied with the the CNS 17 kind of liquid consistency, but even more gelatinous. So the stuff really does not break down well as a solution. You almost have to set it up in a mixing jug first, dilute it with water, break it down a bit before you add it. And it's somewhat of a pain in the ass, although admittedly, based on recommended dosages, is very concentrated, so it does have that working for it. But I've messed around with different dosages. I find that I have to add a little bit more than what is recommended to get decent results. And I don't know, guys. It's probably not something we're gonna be using much in the future, since nobody carries this stuff anyways. But one product that did catch my eye, that's actually been on the market for a long time, is Mother Plant, and they actually had this in stock over at Green Door, and they get this stuff in all the time. Obviously, it's been readily available for several years, I would imagine, at this point. And it is advertised as a base nutrient for mother plants, which is obviously something that I'm going to be focusing on primarily. So we'll be giving this stuff a shot, and I'll be reporting in on what I think about this versus the Heavy 16 base nutrients, or the Jungle Juice, or any of the other collection of nutrients we've been using over at the Site B location. But one product that I did want to give some special attention to is a product from a company called, let's see here, it's from Skunk Labs Horticulture, and their website is skunklabshc.com. Hope you guys can see it there in the light. It's a little bit easier. And they make a product here called Clone Tech, and what I really like about this product, at least as far as how it's advertised, is that it is an all-in-one rockwool preparation solution, as well as your rooting hormone. You don't have to use a third party such as Clonex, Mad Farmer, Vitagrow, Woods, any of that stuff. You don't have to use that when you use this product. Essentially, from what I understand, the basics is that obviously you prep your rockwool solution, with this solution, and you also use that solution to keep the clones. If you use cups, as we do, obviously we do a mass number of cuttings, so we put them in water cups first, before they're put into their hormone and then set. So you essentially use whatever solution, just fill your cups up with that, keep your clones in that, and then go ahead and plant them directly in the rockwool. And that really helps a lot, guys. It saves an additional step that we have to worry about, and this is going to allow the girls to work a lot faster when they're taking cuttings. And as they set things up, it's going to allow us to do more clones and simplify the process a lot. And if this ends up working as good as advertised, it's going to be a massive game changer. And it's not that terribly expensive. I believe that this bottle here, MSRP's directly off their site at $17.95. Unfortunately, they don't sell it in a volume solution, and at recommended dosages of 1 to 2 milliliters per gallon. This stuff's going to go really fast because the New Gardens guys, we're going to be using our 40-gallon low profile reservoirs for doing rockwool soaking. So we're going to be setting up 40 gallons at a time of this stuff, and obviously we have to. We're going to be doing like cut rounds, in the numbers of like 700 per round, every 10 to 14 days. So yeah, we're going to be going through a lot of this stuff, and also, although it may not be quite as cost effective, not exactly a drain on the resources either. So we'll have to see how that works out. Obviously, I will go into more detail about it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in checking it out, they sent me this free sample here. Their website is skunklabshc.com. If you have any comments, feel free to let me know what you think about it. But obviously, guys, the next video updates that we'll be doing here in the short term are going to be focusing on the transition. Getting all of this new stuff set up to accommodate all these new resources, and then just exploring how it works out. But if my initial estimates are anywhere even close to being correct, based on rooting percentage and overall success that we've had at this garden location, guys, we're going to be looking at anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 rooted units coming out of the new HQ per month. And I hope that's going to be enough, guys, to meet demand. And I understand, guys, how it is with the SFVOG, and this strain has changed all your lives. It's definitely changed mine, and I'm going to give my best effort, guys, to produce as many of them as possible. And I just desperately hope that it's enough. That's pretty much all I can say. So that is it, guys, for this video update. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Otherwise, guys, next video updates are going to be more of what I just said, you know, focusing on the transition to this, you know, new massive nursery project that we're doing, which is going to include obviously setting up all the new gear, but also, you know, tearing down the remnants of the old HQ. So it should be interesting as always. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you all next time.